all my picks back, and I want David goddamn Putney just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already? You make this deal right now, Tom, and you get Bo Callahan. Say it with me. You get Bo. Come on, Tom, say it with me, you pancake-eating motherfucker.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. I play that clip for one reason and one reason only. When we have what happens to a young Sam Williams, we need to rely on our draft picks. Game time, Brian here, otherwise known as the mailman, doing a little nighttime recording. Yes, say it with me, you pancake-eating MFer. Give me Bo. Oh, no. You get your guy. Yes, we had some tough news with Sam Williams, but I am here to just alleviate some of everybody's concern. Seems like things are starting to come together with this defense. Some of the shortcomings over the years, I think, have been overshadowed by the enormous amount of turnovers. Now, in the preseason, I just think it's been overshadowed a little bit by all the turnovers. But in training camp, there is no short supply of turnovers. We're turning the ball over at a rapid rate, all the quarterbacks, not just Trey Lance. I would say Cooper Rush looks the best out of all three quarterbacks. But again, I think when the pads come on, we will see a lot more. I'm not so much worried about the offense and CeeDee Lamb. It's only a matter of time, people. I said he'll miss 1 to 2 weeks. I'm going to stick with that. They're exchanging offers. It's probably the guarantees. That's probably what their their hang up is. And you heard Stephen Jones basically reiterate again that playing for the Cowboys creates money for the players before and after, during their career. They're using that angle, and they're using it big time. But circling back to Sam Williams, rest assured, I wanted to give you an interview. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but I want to comment as he's talking. Mike Zimmer is a breath of fresh air. Just let me, in the easiest way possible for the people that don't know the difference between a Dan Quinn defense and a Mike Zimmer defense. Not so much the defense, but the defensive tackles. That's been a big issue regarding the Cowboys. Oh, my God, we got no D tackles. That's not the case. I mean, it really isn't. Now, they're not proven. We don't have a Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis, yeah, I think we got a Jordan Davis. Remember, Jordan Davis is a part-time player. We'll see if he can play 3 downs. I don't believe that he's still going to be able to do that. We have a lot of young talent. Don't forget, we got Osa Odigizua, who's in a contract year. He's very, very good. He's not a one-tech. But basically the difference between the reason why Mozzie went all the way down to 290 pounds was because Dan Quinn philosophy is attack the quarterback, stop the run on the way to the quarterback. Whereas Mike Zimmer is more of a fundamental defensive player. And he wants the one technique to eat the double team and allow the 3 tech and, the linebackers to be able to flow. It's a different scheme. Mike Zimmer's defenses are renowned. Mozzie Smith played in the Mike Zimmer defense at Michigan. That's what he's used to. What they asked him to do last year was foreign to him. Mozzie looks far and away more confident this year and more ready to go. And it's because of what they're doing. I wouldn't say simplify. It's a different philosophy. Dan Quinn wants a more athletic, get to the passer. Oh, by the way, stop the run on the way to the passer. And that's great. It's easier to play but you have to be fundamental, and that's what they're doing with Mozzie Smith. But I want to play a little bit of, and we'll like he go back and forth. But I want to touch, like we're gonna comment on the Mike Zimmer interview with 105.3 The Fan on Sean and RJ. Mike Zimmer is that guy, people. Mike Zim is that guy. Let's listen in.
He is one of the first names we put down for interview requests out here in Oxnard, and he's sitting down in the On-Time Experts hot seat. Mike Zimmer, Cowboys defensive coordinator, here on 105.3 The Fan with Sean, RJ, and Bobby. What's up, Coach?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Cold.
Cold.
This is what Minnesota feels like?
Early in the year, it gets a little colder than this. But
are you wearing shorts?
I am.
Let's roll, man.
You just trying to sit here and make the rest of us look bad right here?
No, y'all are pretty tough, I heard.
You heard wrong.
You get the scout report from Brian Broadus. Broadus hitting you up for all the practice inside out here already?
No, not too much. I haven't really talked to anybody about any of this stuff that's been going on. I do have to say hello to my two twin grandsons, though, Bodie and Nash.
Are they listening right now?
I think they're listening.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Right.
Young Tobos.
Nice.
So now we have to be nice to you.
Yeah, you do.
They're
They're going to grow up and come after you.
Go after.
All right, Coach. I know
Sean
that,
Sharif.
I heard one is extremely tough already.
Just joking.
I know you're going to say don't put all this on me, but when you were rumored for this job and it happened, we said, okay, some of the discipline issues, some of the toughness issues, some of the intelligence issues, Mike Zimmer is going to fix all that. To that narrative, you say what?
I just kind of coach the guys the way I see they needed to be coached. We try to do things disciplined. We try to be a team-oriented unit. I always talk to guys when I was in Minnesota and everywhere else about, do your job so someone else can have success doing theirs. I point out the mistakes. I point out when they're not doing well, and I tell them when they're doing good too. So, hopefully it'll all come together.
How do you, when you come to a new spot, like merge I want my system, but I want to fit guys into my system and what I do, as opposed to just saying, this is what we're doing, y'all got to fit into this?
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way. Usually you have your principles and the way that you do things, and then, you start to take a look at the players and see what their strengths are and their weaknesses and how you can kind of fit them into different places. Quite honestly, I've been very, very impressed with this group of defensive players. They've been trying to do what we're asking them to do. We're asking them to do some different things. We're asking them to change up some of the ideas that they've done in the past, but they've seemed to be really working hard at it. So I've been very impressed.
What's your philosophy on coaching penalties? Because didn't you say Parcells?
We don't like
You're
him.
obviously a Parcells
Yeah,
guy.
I don't coach penalties.
I don't coach penalties.
I don't coach penalties. Yeah, it's really on the players, but he used to say all the time, we don't coach penalties, which we don't. We try to coach within the rules of the game, and and get the players to understand that, hey, that's your responsibility, that you're
definitely
not jumping off sides, especially pre-snap penalties. You're going to have some aggressive penalties and things like that, but you just want to make sure that you're doing things the right way.
When you talk about,
I just think it's going to be nice to have a defensive coordinator on the sideline getting in your ass when you don't do something good, or praising you when you do something good. I think there's something to be said for that. I understand. Trust me when I tell you, when you have the eye in the sky looking down, you need guys up there. You really do. I just don't like your defensive coordinator being up there. You need somebody up there, saying, yo, Zim, looks like the defense is shading this or whatever. You need that, but I'd like your defensive coordinator down on the field, and that's what we're going to have. And we'll listen to more of Mike Zimmer, but you can already see a difference. Like guys like Marquise Bell. Marquise Bell is able to drop. I mean, he's playing safety. He doesn't have to take on these big boys that he was expected to do last year when he had to play freaking linebacker at 205 pounds in a playoff game. Again, people who don't know, I don't expect you to know or appreciate what I'm saying, and that's fine. I don't care. I'm just telling the people who know that we were doing it with mirrors last year. We had an unbelievable easy schedule, but we won 12 games, and we were not prepared. We should have beat Green Bay regardless. It was a total team collapse. Dak did not have a good game. We didn't stop them, literally, in the first half. We didn't make them punt. You can't do that in the playoff game. You cannot do that. Mike Zimmer is going to bring A-gap blitzes, okay? That's big on him. He's going to show blitz and back out and play coverage. He's going to blitz. I mean, he likes sticky cornerbacks up in the face. Linebackers, Damone Clark looks really good. I mean, I'll tell you if they're not looking good. I will tell you. Now, I'm very upset that we lost Sam Williams because he had an opportunity. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I felt very comfortable that he was going to I wasn't comfortable that he was going to be able to be successful this year. His upside is through the roof. Kind of reminds me of a Randy Gregory-esque type player where he just can't get out of his own way sometimes, has a lot of talent, not necessarily translates to the field. Now, when it comes to Marshawn Nealon, they're already saying, remember my original scouting report was kind of like D-Law where they didn't expect a lot of pass rush. Unbelievable against the run. Very, very solid from the waist down. He's tough to move, strong. Marshawn Nealon is making some headway with the pass rush. He looks really good. So I'm happy with that. Still, we need depth. When you look around the NFL, you got guys like Carl Lawson's out there. He actually tweeted, I basically told Mark, I think he did a video about it. He tweeted once he found out that Sam Williams got hurt, he tweeted a star. He's like, come get me. I heard some people say Hassan Reddick. Yeah, that would be great and all, but this team doesn't pay people. They would have to pay the $25 million a year. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So, unfortunately, that ain't going to happen. So let's listen to more of Zim, but very, very excited about this defense. He's normally not used to having a defense with this much talent when he walks in the door. So
about defensive philosophy and different approaches to the game. How much of defensive scheme or philosophy is actually hardline principles versus reacting to trends that offenses are innovating and pushing and trying to stop that?
Well, I think it's always a chess game. The offenses are always trying to figure out one better way to against the defense and vice versa too. And so it always kind of goes around and round cyclically. I always used to say, it used to be the wishbone, and now it's then it's the run and shoot, and then it comes back to the zone reads, which is a possibility of a variation of really the option game. So, I think it all kind of evolves, and you just got to keep evolving. And we've got a lot of smart coaches in the room with us, and so I think that's been good.
Has there been a trend in recent years that you've looked at from offenses that you've said that's been the most difficult thing league-wide for defenses to adjust to and figure out and combat?
Yeah, when one of the things is, all these jet motions and things, because typically defenses are built on either a 2-by-2 formation or 3-by-1 formation, and when they're running and you're not able to really make the checks to 2-by-2 or 3-by-1, now they're getting you to play a 2-by-2 formation, but they're really in a 3-by-1 formation. So that's been difficult. Sometimes you get nickelbacks playing linebacker and linebackers playing nickel, things like that because of those things, unless you're playing all man-to-man, and then they just crack in, the guy chasing the guy. The other thing, this outside motion that some of the teams are doing now with the real fast, so they kind of get a running head start, almost like Canadian Football League, Yeah. So, some of those things that are causing some issues.
How do you, by the way, we got breaking news here on your home of the Rangers. Some minor selling taking place as they've dealt Michael Lorenzen to the Kansas City Royals. So we will cover that in crosstalk with KMC coming up at 9:40. Mike Zimmer here on the Fan. How do you feel about analytics?
Honestly, there's a deal that I've always
Sorry,
said,
Howie.
when I sit down and I watch film and I'm sitting there watching 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6 and 9, 2nd and 10 plus, to me that's all analytics. I'm sitting there, I'm going to do all the analytics with it. I think there's a time and place for that. I
agree.
I do think
Time and
that
place.
it's based on numbers and numbers only. They don't know who's playing, who's hurt, the wind conditions, the weather conditions, how you've practiced during the week and things like that. So, it's another tool, but it's just, I don't know.
Do you find it's more useful as a head coach than as a coordinator?
That's
in terms of game management situations.
Yeah, I guess, but at the end of the day, you still have to pull the trigger. What you think, it's a 4th and 1. One time I was in Minnesota, I went for it on 4th and 1 on my own 30-yard line or something, and we ran a quarterback sneak and didn't get it, and so I'm thinking, man, you're a dummy. But luckily we got an interception on the next play and they bailed me out. But it just if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, you're not too smart.
Coach, obviously, the unfortunate bad news yesterday with Sam Williams going down for the year. Can you just talk about that loss and what you were seeing from Sam so far in the offseason?
Yeah, it's really discouraging. Sam was a fun guy to be around, very, very athletic. He was working really, really hard. I really enjoyed getting to know him. He was one of the first guys to come up to my office when I got here, sit down and talk and about having, possibility of having a big year. And, so that does hurt. So we'll just have to, kind of regroup and, Marshawn Nealon will probably get some more reps out of it, but he's been doing good as well.
Speaking of Nealon, there specifically your 2nd-round pick there, what have you seen from him, his skill set, and you mentioned there this is going to be a big opportunity for him to contribute as a rookie right away.
Yeah, well, he should. I think all these guys have the opportunity to compete right away if they're doing what they're supposed to do, and he's done a really nice job. He's a going Jesse. He's going to go like crazy. He's physical, and he loves ball.
I saw the Dallas Cowboys social team put out a video yesterday where they asked the players, what's your favorite coach's phrase so far at training camp? And Malik Hooker and Wanye Thomas both started laughing. And they said, Coach Zim, and it's, you better fix it or I'm going to fix it for you. Explain what that saying means.
I don't know if I ever said that, to be honest with you.
You said it.
I might have said that once in a meeting one day. I don't know. I don't remember.
Do you laugh at the whole, Mike Zimmer has a hard-ass reputation that he's going to come in here and curse everyone out up and down? You take pride in it?
Fix it or
accurate?
I'll fix it for you.
What do you say about that?
No, I don't really know. I think I'm going to be myself, and I think there's different ways to get to players. Some of them you put your arm around them, some of them you kick them in the rear end, and not literally, obviously. But,
I like it.
But it's just different ways to try to motivate guys, and what I'm trying to do is get them to understand that what they do affects 10 other players on the field, and if you do your job, then this guy does his job, then we all can be successful
only
doing our job together.
what you do.
I think we should just ask his grandsons.
That's it.
Yeah.
Find out.
Yeah, they're listening.
Or puts his arm around him.
Text in young Zimmers. Is he nice grandpa or strict?
Oh, I'm a nice grandpa.
There you go. Coach, it felt like we went from the time you left here until the time Dan got here without a single interception forced on this. Are you philosophically, are you a coverage or an aggressive secondary? Do you want them trying to jump routes and taking the risk of a big play, or what's your philosophy about there?
I've always said there's an element of denying your person the ball.
Yeah.
So if I'm covering you tight
Brad
enough,
Harris, no more free
the ball's going
releases off
somewhere
the
else,
line
which
of
makes
scrimmage.
the quarterback pull the ball down, and
Now, you may get beat.
opportunity for more sacks, quarterback hits and fumbles and things like that. So obviously we're going to be aggressive on the outside, but Parcells used to have a saying, you get beat by giving up big plays, sacks, turnovers, things like that, penalties. So and he used to always say, hey, you're going to win half the games, you don't beat yourself. You know, you go out there and you play good, solid, fundamental football. You're going to win half your games, and then what you do in the other half is when you got to go make some plays. So I don't know if I answered your question. Obviously, we always love to get turnovers, but we want to be fundamentally sound too.
Fundamental.
The last one
There
for you,
it
Coach. Micah Parsons, during OTAs, he was talking about the idea of getting ready to play in your defense and get the opportunity to do some different things schematically. He said, Coach Zimmer's going to have some thoughts about how I need to play, and I'm going to have my thoughts, and we're just going to need to meet in the middle. What does that look like for you?
Well, we've sat down, like every morning we sit down and we come in there and we talk about things, and he's a very, very smart guy. He's brilliant, and he has some good ideas, and if they're good ideas, we'll implement them. And when you have a puzzle piece like him who can do so many different things, we're going to try to not allow the offense to know where he is all the time, and I think that's a big part of kind of what he's saying. So it's been great, sitting down with him, getting to know him, and so we're excited to go from there.
Coach, thank you for sitting down.
Here's the deal, everybody. He's a breath of fresh air. It was time for a change. Brad Harris, this goes out to you, my man. He just told you. They're going to make receivers work on every down. Are you going to get beat on? Yes. But Malik Hooker, they're not going to allow very many deep plays over the top. Now, we did see one in practice. Kalen Carson, I keep saying Kalen Carson. The NFC East is going to know Kalen Carson very well. He was drafted the end of the 5th round. Dallas had a 3rd-round grade. It's been discovered that they had a 3rd-round grade on him. Not a 2nd, but still a 3rd-round grade. When they went to draft Kalen Carson, there was a blinking light on the board because, they're Xing out all the guys that they've drafted. Who's the highest, player? You go for need. I mean, you do. Let's be honest. But at some point, you just got to take the player. And Kalen Carson has been doing nothing but bowling. I know Trayvon's out, but he's playing with the first team, and he has interceptions. This defensive room is really, really good. They just are. Very, very stout. It's going to be very curious to see who makes the team and who don't make the team, who doesn't make the team. I think guys like Nashawn Wright, Eric Scott Jr., I would love to flip him to Washington. But, I just want to say this. What was an unbelievable move, and I was surprised. I was happy, but I was surprised that they did it, was the 2nd-round pick, Marshawn Kneeland. He was the highest player on my board when they picked. I didn't think they'd take him. They did. Thank God that we took Marshawn Kneeland. My man, Loyal Cowboy, shout out to him. He loves Marshawn Kneeland. I didn't think he would offer as much pass rush as, again, there's no pads. But you could tell what you could tell. He is all that. He's confident. He's stronger than DeMarcus Lawrence. He is stronger than D-Law. So when you have Kneeland on one side and D-Law on the other, and Micah playing weak side and having him come through the A-gaps, that's very, very scary. That's scary. Now, again, I do think we need to go out. There's bodies out there. Some guys that aren't really turning heads. Junior Fajoko, I don't know. This is his opportunity if he wants to play ball. He's not standing out. Hopefully when the pads are on, that's what happens. So we shall see. He needs to step up. He needs to step up big time. Just off the top of the head here, yes. Defensive tackles, Justin Rogers out of Auburn, and Denzel Daxon. They're both flashing, as well as Mozzie is getting his fundamentals down. they like what they see regarding Mozzie Smith, but again, we got to see it. Mike Zimmer is the best thing that this team could have done. Now all we got to sit back and hope is they bring CD in. Let's get some, let's decide what we're doing with Dak one way or another and put that behind us. If they're going to not re-sign him, then they're not. They are desperately trying to sign him. They're hoping he meets their demands, maybe meet in the middle. We shall see. I'm just curious about this head coach and if they're going to try and lock him up. I don't know. I have a weird feeling that I told Phil this prime time. I said, what would you do if they signed Dak and CD and brought back the coaches for long-term deals? That would be a way to get everybody all in training camp, get them locked in, and then all of a sudden everybody's back. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling that might happen. I don't see why you would bring Dak back if you're not going to bring the coach back. I think they're kind of hand in hand, right? Don't you think? But maybe not. But all right, that's Mike Zimmer video. Very, very excited about Zim and what he's going to do. And thank God that we drafted Marshawn Nealon. Tomorrow, well, I don't know if I'm going to release this tonight or tomorrow, but stay tuned. I'm probably going to release this tomorrow. Probably. We got the channel member Zoom call Tuesday night as well. So, all right, everybody. Game time, Brian. I'm going to do some videos here. We'll touch on and we'll show some highlights of some other players at camp. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you later.